Welcome and good evening. This is Jaded. Tales of Survival. I'm your host, Do Matrix 23. Here we tell original stories from the exiled lands, and from deep within our imagination. Follow us as we look at tales of tragedy and triumph. If you enjoyed today's content, please like and subscribe. Thank you, and enjoy. In the icy kingdom of the Arctic Circle, Princess Freya lived a life of luxury and privilege. She was adored by her people, admired for her beauty and grace. But one night all of that would change forever. King Artemis, her father, was slowly succumbing to madness. King Artemis had been a fair ruler, but his behavior started to take a darker turn. He began beating and mistreating prisoners, torturing servants, and his madness was getting worse. He was talking endlessly about demons that plagued their land. He believed that the only way to cleanse their kingdom of sin was to rid it of all its inhabitants. One fateful day, King Artemis went on a killing spree, attacking villagers in the courtyard, his madness consuming him completely. Princess Freya, horrified by her father's actions, tried to intervene. But the king turned on her, his eyes filled with a madness she had never seen before. Artemis had snapped, and in self-defense, Freya was forced to kill her own father. Quickly apprehended by the king's guard, Freya was sent to the dungeon to await trial. The people, once adoring of her, now saw her as a murderer. She was banished to the desert of the exiled lands, a wasteland where no one could survive for long. Alone and afraid, she wandered the harsh wasteland without purpose, until her survival instincts took over. Freya set out to find supplies in the harsh desert. She searched for anything that would aid her survival. The heat was unbearable, but she was determined to survive. As she wandered through a large canyon, she stumbled upon a massive lake. Exhausted, she decided to make camp not far from the water's edge. She awakes to a traveling merchant approaching her. He had an interesting proposition for Freya. He offered her the keys to a cabin in the woods and a small fortune in exchange for retrieving a lost artifact. With nothing to lose, Freya agreed to the merchant's terms and set sail. Freya Freya would arrive on the beach, a sense of worry washed over her, but she continued inland. She swam through the ancient structures of the underwater city, each one more eerie and mysterious than the last. Finally, she came upon a large gate, adorned with intricate carvings. Inside, she found a monstrous beast with scales as hard as steel, sharp claws, and fangs that dripped with venom. Freya knew that she had to slay the beast in order to retrieve the artifact the merchant sought. With all her strength and cunning, Freya fought the monster, matching its ferocity with her own determination. In a final, desperate move, she swung her sword with all her might, killing the creature and ending its reign of terror. As the beast fell to the ground, Freya took its scales and retrieved the artifact. With her mission complete, she returned to the surface, victorious and filled with a sense of power she had never known before. Excited to bring the artifact back to shore, Freya returned to find the merchant who had guided her on this journey. But to her horror, she discovered that he was not alone. The merchant revealed his true intentions. Freya was to be sacrificed to the gods, a ploy to gain their favor and unlock the artifact's true potential. He orders his men to take her alive. Refusing to go down without a fight, Freya lashed out with all the strength she had left, swinging as hard as she could. But the merchant's men outnumbered her, beating and overpowering her, eventually knocking her unconscious. When she awoke, she found herself tied to a large stone slab, helpless and at the mercy of her captors. Desperate to break free, Freya struggled against her binds. But her efforts were in vain, as the merchant approached with a wicked grin. With a swift motion, he slit her from ear to ear, watching as the life drained from her body. As Freya's blood filled the crude bowl under her head, her eyes closed for the last time. Many exiles believe her spirit lingers on in the exiled lands, filled with sorrow and rage. She vowed to warn all who crossed her path, urging them not to trust the treacherous traveling merchant.